Hey everybody, welcome to our next exit. We're here in Yuma, we're home. Our full-time RV adventure is over. As of the last 12 days, we're part-time, we're living the part-time RV lifestyle. We have a small home here in Yuma, and we're gonna be spending our winters in Yuma, and then our summers, we'll be out for 6, 7, 8 months at a time traveling. So we're on the winter schedule now. We've been in Yuma for 12 days. And you can tell it's really quiet here. This is the middle of October, and probably half the people haven't showed up. Now the Canadians are not coming at all, I don't think, but a lot of the US residents haven't got here yet. Our neighbors here on the left side of the screen, they're in California, and they said they won't get here until probably December. The folks on the right in this greenhouse, they're from Montana, and they got here about 2 weeks ago. But you walk the street, this is one of the main streets here in the Fortuna foothills, and there's virtually no traffic yet. And from what I understand, once people start showing up, this road is just really busy. Here's our house. You can see we've been chopping down the bushes because they were hanging down in the ground and giving shelter to the rattlesnakes. And we haven't got any rattlesnakes, seen them in our yard yet. But our neighbor here to the right in this greenhouse, they've lived here 3 years, and Jason told me he's caught 6 rattlesnakes in his yard. And most of them are small, like around a foot or something. But Manny across the street, he's been here like 15 or 20 years. He's only caught 1. But we're a little nervous of that because they would take Tinker out. So we're trimming up all the bushes, making sure we can stay on top of any vegetation and get rid of any hiding spaces for the scorpions and the rattlesnakes. The rattlesnakes will be gone here in just another month or so. They're gonna go take a nap and they won't be back till spring. But that's a whole different story. Let's get back to our expense report. I think everybody knows how the spreadsheet works by now. But in a nutshell, we have no debt, so there's nothing in here about depreciation on the RV or the car or anything, or appreciation on the house or anything that we have that might appreciate. This is all of our expenses with the exception of charity or gifts that we may have given away and expenses for our YouTube channel. Everything else is in here. We also have a little section down at the bottom for our expenses for the house, which that'll probably grow more, but not a lot more. And we'll kind of go over that. A lot of you folks have written me and have made comments that you're interested in what does it cost to maintain a house as well as the RV lifestyle. So that's why we're going to do that for a couple of months here, and depending on the interest, we may continue it or we may just kind of end it at the end of 2020. So we got 2 months to figure out about that. So let's start off right off the get-go. In the month of October, we drove 666 miles. And you can see here, this is the line, the label of what the line item is. This is the month of October. For the last 12 months, that'd be November of 2019 through October of 2020, we've driven 7,700 miles. You divide that number by 12, we've averaged 645 a month. We've been living the full-time RV lifestyle for 41 months since June of 2017, and we've averaged 696 miles a month in those 41 months. We moved 2 times in October, and that was from Tahoe Valley, California, all the way down to Calamasa, California. And we were planning on stopping up somewhere here in the middle, but Pearl does most all the driving, and she just wanted to go. We were anxious to get home, and she just kept going. We ended up the first day driving 446 miles, and then the second day we drove from Calamasa to Yuma, and that was 217 miles. So we moved twice. So you divide that move 666 divided by 2, we averaged 333 miles per traveling day. Well, on this line, we moved 43 times in the last 12 months. We averaged moving 4 times a month, and since we've been doing this, we've averaged moving 4 times a month. We averaged 180 miles on traveling day. This number's kind of irrelevant. I just added this line a while back, and now that I think about it, this is irrelevant. So we'll take that out in future ones. But we average 180 miles on a travel day, and ever since we've been doing this, we've averaged 185. So we're pretty consistent with moving 4 times a month and traveling 180 or 90 miles on a travel day. We spent 18 nights in Thousand Trails. That was all at Tahoe Valley Campground up at South Lake Tahoe. And we spent 179 nights in Thousand Trails in the last 12 months. And we averaged 15 a month. And then since we started, we've averaged 23 a month. So we kind of cut back a little bit on our Thousand Trails. And a lot of that is because of this number here. The nights out of Thousand Trails in the last 12 months is 158. We averaged 13 nights a month out of Thousand Trails. And since we've been doing this, we've averaged 7 nights a month out of Thousand Trails. And here's a new line item. Since we've got our home, we're keeping track of it separate. This month we spent 12 days in our home. And look who stopped by to visit with us, Mark and Sue from Our Journey in Miles.
This is kind of like watching somebody park into their spot at the RV park.
Yeah.
We're just all watching you. You got a little audience here.
Yeah.
No biggie, no big deal. I probably make a pizza different than just about anybody you've ever seen make a pizza.
That happened to us recently. We pulled in and people literally, it was like an audience. And I had a pull-through spot to go in, and it was a giant spot. I mean, you could have parked at an aircraft carrier.
You're watching because it was you guys and they knew you? Or
No,
because?
they just happened to be all in chairs and they didn't move an inch when I pulled in. So guess what?
Oh my
I didn't
gosh.
get it right.
I know, it's so
Yeah. Fortunately, we had to disconnect anyways. But not only did we have to disconnect, but then I had to reposition, and they're like looking at me like, really? I mean, they could have put 3 fifth wheels in there simultaneously.
Now that was a fun day. Back in June, when we bought the house, we spent 11 days, and in May, when we first moved in, 20 days. So we spent 43 days in the last 12 months in our home, and you divide that by 12, we come up with right at 4 days a month. But obviously that's a little deceptive with all that, and this is a little deceptive. So that gives you an idea of our traveling. Our diesel fuel, we spent $298 on diesel fuel, and we averaged $300 a month and $330 a month since we started. So that's pretty consistent. Thousand Trails annual dues are $643. So we just divide that by 12 and we allocate $54 a month into Thousand Trails. And then we also have Escapees membership, which is about $40 a month, a Good Sam, and Passport America. All three of those are about $35 to $50. So we just pay those in the month that they're due. And we have each one for different reasons. So now from these two numbers, we can look up here. Our average diesel fuel cost per night is, for the last 12 months, has been running about $9.75. And for the 41 months that we've been doing this, it's been running us $10.89. Not totally sure what's bringing that down. Part of it's going to be the fuel discount card, but not completely. Our fuel cost per mile driven in the RV is 48 cents, both this year and for the last 3 years. So I'm not sure what explains that. I may do a little bit of analysis on that later. And then our average campsite cost per night. This is totally the Thousand Trails membership that allows us to camp for an average of $8 a night. $8.07 for this 12 months and $8.15 since we've been doing it. Totally our Thousand Trails. That is a no-brainer in our opinion. If finances is an issue for you to live the full-time RV lifestyle, you really need to check in getting a Thousand Trails membership. Motorhome Repairs, a big old goose egg, finally. we don't get too many of those. Well, we've had a couple, but not many. The last 12 months we spent $7,000 on maintenance. The big one being, this is the last month I backed up into a pole back in November of last year. And insurance covered most of that. Our expenses was, our part of that cost was $2,200. And then the rest of it was just kind of routine stuff. We average $600 a month, and since we've been doing it, $700 a month. But all these numbers here are potentially misleading. We had a $10,000 repair bill in Lazy Days a couple of years ago, and then this $2,000 where I backed into that pole. So a couple of pretty big ones. So yours may or may not be that much, but that's what ours were. Auto gas repairs, $71 for gas, and the car, I thought our transmission was going bad. It was starting to hard shift real bad. So I thought from towing maybe we were going to have an issue, but check the transmission fluid. It doesn't appear we're leaking anywhere, but it was down about maybe 2 ounces or so. So I bought some transmission fluid, put that in there, and that seemed to have fixed it. Our insurance, our RV insurance is $871 for our RV. That's not full-timers, that's just regular RV insurance. And our auto insurance is $839. Now that we own a house, we dropped our full-time insurance. We add those up, divide by 12, gives us $143 a month for our vehicle insurance. Groceries, $922. That's everything we spend in the grocery store: paper goods, medicine, the non-prescription medicine, dog food, silverware. Anything we buy in a grocery store is in this number. So that's a little bit high. That's not just, oh, and liquor, wine, whatever, cold beer, whatever we may purchase at the liquor store goes in there. And that's about what we've been averaging, $950, and then since we've been doing it, $902. That's up a little bit because we're not dining out quite as much as we used to this whole year with COVID. $250 is what we used to average. This year is $150, and this month $160 for dining out. Internet and cell phone, real quick. We have 2 cell phones. We have one jetpack that we pay $65 a month, and then I've got a smartwatch that has a account. So all of those added up is $209 for it. Gives us unlimited internet, and then both our cell phones. Verizon is who we go through. DirecTV, they gave us some kind of deal, but they stuck to it, raised it up. Now they're back down to $13. I have no idea what's going on with that. Good chance that'll go away when this 12-month promotion ends that they gave us. Medical, Medicare Part A, there's no monthly premium for that. Medicare Part B is $145 for Pearl and for me, so that's $290. Our Part D, which is our prescription drugs, is $13 a piece. We have a Walmart, cheap Walmart plan, so that's $26 a month. Pearl's Medigap, we have a Plan G that if Medicare approves a medical expense, then this Plan G picks up any deductible or out-of-pocket expense for us. So Pearl pays $125 a month, I pay $131. And I bought a new blood pressure monitor. The old one was kind of reading high readings, and before I started back on my high blood pressure medication, I decided to get a new meter, and it looks like the old meter was just maybe reading a little high. I'm kind of right on the line there. But right now I'm not taking any blood pressure medication. Tinker, we had her groomed, $50. Recreation and hobbies, I'm not even sure what that was. Nothing for computer, nothing for clothing, nothing for mail. So for the month, $2,600 for the month of October. Not a bad month. $44,200 for the last 12 months is what we spent, and since we started for the last 41 months, divide everything we spent by 41, it comes up to $48,500. So between $45,000 and $50,000 is about what we're spending. Nothing has changed here in our home expenses. Let me scroll this over so you can See it lined up a little bit. Nothing's changed much. Our power bill, it started dropping down because the temperatures are cooling off. The whole time we were gone, we had the thermostat set at 93 degrees, so it'd not let the house get warmer than 93, but now it's cooled down, so it's $51 this month. So for the month, it's $621. It looks like this is for the last 5 months, our average is $650. If nothing changed, it would stay about $7,500 additional expense. So the house and the motorhome lifestyle, living the part-time lifestyle for both things is running right now about $52,000, which is a pretty tolerable number. Be nice if it's 42, but 52 to have a home and be out and about traveling and living an RV lifestyle, not a bad deal. So that pretty much covers it. I hope that helps you. Obviously your expenses are going to be a little bit different, but it gives you a place to start. If you would like a copy of this spreadsheet, and actually it's not this spreadsheet, it is a different one, or whatever your expenses are, and then you just type in whatever you think you would be adding, and it'll add it up for you across here to tell you your average for the last 12 months, and it'll add them up going this way to tell you for February all of your expenses. So anyway, you got a blank one that you can fill in and modify for yourself, and then it's got our actual expenses for the 12 months of 2018 to give you some kind of reference. And a lot of people ask, how do you make the little things, the little notes? You just right click and add new note, and then type in your little note. Then it puts a little red arrow up there, and then whenever your cursor goes over it, you can see what made that jump up. You rented a bigger plane that month. So anyway, if you want that, send us an email. I'll put our email address right here. It's bobrpearl@gmail.com, and we'll send you a copy of this one right here. So you got a blank, and then you got some numbers to kind of give you a starting spot. So I hope that helps. We will I ordered me this month some solar panels. We're going to see if we can put in our own solar system. So we're going to be up on the roof messing around. I don't know if we'll get it all in and installed in November, but the expenses will all be in November. And in November and December, we're going to try to see if we can put it all in and get ready for our boondocking rally. So we'll see how that goes, and that about covers it. So I hope that helps. Until we see you guys again next time, keep the wheels rolling, stay safe. We'll see you at the next exit, folks. Bye-bye.